It's your time to build and move in silence. In this video, I really want to talk to you about something that you probably don't expect. I know you hear everywhere all this talk about spending time alone and removing all the distractions, removing all the social media, removing all the technology. But here, I'm about to tell you something that will change your life because it's a real issue and I know you're facing it and I know you're going to face it. And that is to fall in the trap of either losing yourself out there, being so focused on the grind, on trying to get people's approval and get money and get recognition and gain status, or spending too much time losing yourself by spending too much time alone. In either of those situations, you don't win. And in either of those situations, you've literally allowed yourself to accept a life sentence and rob yourself of your limitless potential. You're meant to create, to connect, and to contribute. And one of the things that has happened that I know I've faced my nearly 40-year journey is that we've allowed society to focus so much of our attention on trying to fit in that we've allowed ourselves to measure our value based on the people that give us recognition, the compliments that we get, the amount of friends that we have, the amount of money that we have in our bank account, the car that we drive, what we have in our resumes, the degrees that we have, and these so-called accomplishments. In itself, those accomplishments are great, but what they don't say is what is your character? What is your values? What is your virtues? What do you do when no one is watching? What is your relationship with yourself? Do you spend time to learn, to explore, to discover? Or have you stopped doing that 5 years ago, 10 years ago? What challenges you to be more, to do more, to connect with yourself? Are you spending time in your day to actually learn about the different sides of yourself and to learn to be your most authentic self? Are you learning to love yourself? Are you learning about your unique ability? The problem that I have with the hustle mindset, which I've fallen in love with, is that we fall in love with something that can never love us back. I once heard this quote that money can be with you in one day and be gone tomorrow. Your friends, your parents, no one will ever truly understand you. But at the same time, don't lose yourself spending so much time alone. I know that so many people, including me during the pandemic, spent so much time alone. I know that I wanted to get away from everything. I wanted to get away from the distractions and get in touch with myself. And that process literally opened me with places within me that I never thought were there. Allowed me to get in such a great mind state with what I wanted with my life and the very limiting beliefs that I had. And it is something that I do every single day, spending time alone with myself to check in and to tell myself that whatever happens on the outside, I am here and I'm here to live and I'm here to execute. But at the same time, I do know that it has created this kind of cloud that I need to break out of. And that is that cloud that I now don't need to go out there and express myself. That I don't need to go out there and create and contribute and connect. Because that is, for me, the biggest breakthrough that I've had over the last 40 years. Is to find a certain equilibrium, which is dynamic and never static. An equilibrium between spending time with myself internally and doing the introspective work, but also going out there and unleashing the greatness that I connect with within. We fall in this trap of either losing ourselves externally or losing ourselves alone with ourselves. I know that society puts so much importance on possessions, on status. But the problem is we have now believed that somehow you either gain all of those things and sacrifice your time, sacrifice everything in your life in order to get that. And for me, I truly believe, and I've learned in my life, That is one of the biggest, most destructive myths that I've ever seen. Because the very belief that you allow yourself to buy into, that somehow you need to go out there and work every day and be a mean person and be cold and close yourself in order to go out there and provide for your family, in order to go out there and make money, in order to go out there and get this mortgage, this house, this car, become a legend, change the game, whatever it is that you want with your life, that is literally destroying you. And what you will realize, which is what I've realized, buying my dream home, a home that I would have considered impossible to get when I was unemployed over a year facing deportation, I've realized that those possessions are just at the surface. It is our persona, our social mask. As Carl Jung, one of the great psychologists, once said. But what about what's underneath the social mask, which is our being? What about the different side of you that don't care at all about what people say? The sides of you that you connect with when no one is watching. And that person within you is the person that tells you, dude, what is your purpose? What do you do when no one is watching? What do you do when no one validates you? What do you do when it's all said and done? And what happened to wisdom? What happened to being a good person? What happened to serving, to loving, to giving, to creating, to learning, to teaching, to just being in the moment? You've allowed this quest of greatness, but also this quest of spending time alone with yourself, to rob yourself of your limitless potential. And I don't want you to waste your life. I don't want you to waste your life, fam. Because at the end of the day, all we have is our ability to look at our life and decide what it is that we want this story to be about. And I don't want you to wake up one day and say, man, I wish I understood earlier that I didn't need to go out there and act more and lie more, but I also didn't need to go out there and close myself and completely forget about everything in life. It is about finding what it is that is going to align what moves you internally with what you can go out there and express yourself in the world. You have a special gift. And a great book that I've read, which is 10x is easier than 2x, talks about how most of us will always be stuck in this 2x mindset where we think that our past must define our future and that we must keep doing what we're doing. And what we don't realize is that we have this imaginary rope around our ankle and we are in this imaginary jail. As Bob Marley said, free yourself from mental slavery. I don't know if you've ever heard about the story of the elephant, imaginary rope, but it was a person who walked by a group of elephants and there was a trainer that was training all those elephants. And he noticed that there was a little rope around the elephants that was basically meant to block them. And he was surprised. Those big animals just blocked with, just tied down by just this little rope, tiny rope. And so he asked the trainer, aren't you scared that those elephants are gonna go and run away? And the trainer said, well, we've put those ropes when they were younger. And at that time, they couldn't get away from them. And as they got older, they've learned to believe that they cannot get away, so they don't even try. The biggest tragedy in life, I truly believe deep in my heart, is to define yourself in a box. To think that you have this so-called personality trait and that you cannot change. To think that you are defined by your bank account, by your job. To think that you're defined by the weight on the scale, by the weight that you lift in the gym. To think that you are defined by what is on your resume. You are way more than that. You can be way more than that. You can enjoy way more than that. But you have to believe that it's possible. Because the confirmation bias is so real. What you think the world is what the world is gonna be. And if you have an abundance mindset, a growth mindset, a gratitude mindset, a mindset that you have greatness within you, that at the end of the day, being is where it all starts. And then it flows from being, doing, and then having aligns automatically with who you are. If you believe that, everything in your life will turn effortlessly into something meaningful for you. But you have to first believe it. Being meaning to developing yourself by being in the moment, being mindful, connecting with yourself, spending time, whether it's early in the morning, whether you need to wake up early in the morning, at whatever time it is. Put in that investment with yourself to develop that relationship with yourself and dig deep within, between you and the weight in the gym, between you and the book that you're reading, between you and the journal that you have, between you and just sitting there in your bed, thinking and being, just observing, being there with nature, going on a walk outside, being there present, and then allow yourself to connect this power when you're in that zone with all the different pieces around you so that you can truly connect with what matters the most to you, which is that intention. And once you have that intention, allow that to flow into curiosity, into a vision, into standards, into consistent actions that align with what matters most to you, this being that you are. And as you develop through consistency, as you develop through challenging yourself from a place of abundance, from a place of knowing that you have what it takes and that you don't need to go out there and lie to people and act, that you don't need to go out there and somehow be somebody else. That yes, you can adapt to situations, but all those different pieces are just different dimensions of you. You will know how to adapt when you are in a work environment, how to adapt when you're in a social environment, how to adapt in all those different pieces, but not from a place of neediness, but from a place of development where you've learned to truly connect with who you are. And you learn to be so confident about who you are as a being that what you do, the energy that emanates out of you just flows naturally. But it all starts with that belief, that awareness that you must spend this time of your life to build. And that starts from within. And that then translates outside. Don't get stuck outside, don't get stuck within. You are meant to flow. You are meant to be limitless. You were put here to do something special. Don't allow a season to turn into a life sentence. Don't allow a moment, an experience that you've had in your past, turn your life into a whole lie that you've told about yourself. You were meant for something special, fam. It is your time to build and move in silence. Don't go out there and write checks and take loans with people that you cannot repay because it's not who you are. Telling people you're this, and that. Going out there and chasing all those different things that don't really connect with what you truly want in your life. Connect with yourself and also go out there and deliver. As always, wherever you are, wherever you come from, you're destined for greatness. Get busy living, not busy dying. Love.